What's going on, guys? Christian here, and today is the first episode of Random Rig Friday, the show where I make random rigs and show you my custom builds. And I always just like making random rigs. It's fun for me. It's constructive, the parts, the different aspects of making something new to help increase efficiency, shooting, whatever the case is. Yeah, I enjoy making that, so I was like, hey, let's make a YouTube series out of it. Let's go. So today, as you probably could tell, I'm shooting in my car for good reason, but it's January and really freaking cold, so you can actually see my breath. So I'm going to try and wrap this up and make this quick. So an idea that I've had, and I've never actually tried this before, so we're doing this live here. It's pretty simple, so I don't expect anything to go wrong, but, you know, fingers crossed. I've always been interested in mobile podcasting. I am always on the road and always driving, and I always have, like, my greatest ideas when I'm driving, which is really like inconvenient because I want to write them down, or I will sometimes literally like get out my phone and do the voice app and like just record ideas. And I've actually recorded a few podcasts. I call them podcasts, although I've never actually released them, more for like my own reference. I've recorded them on my phone, but I'm like, what if I just recorded them with a higher quality microphone? Well, how would I do that? Really don't have too much space. I don't typically roll my camera in the passenger seat when I drive, so it's like, how do I do this? That's when I started thinking, what if we rigged up a mic to the window here? And that's what we're talking about today. The suction cup microphone mount. But when thinking about this idea and knowing that if I do drive and podcast at the same time, it's something else to think about as opposed to just thinking about the road. So if you do not feel comfortable doing this, do not do it. It's okay. You can podcast another time. So let me break all the pieces of this down. God, my hands are cold already. So first we have our suction cup mount. This is made by Matthews. I believe it supports up to like 11 pounds. This is definitely overkill for what I'm doing here, but I bought this for cameras, so why not just use it? Then we have this 3-inch baby pin, which has a 1/4-inch thread that I can just screw on here. This actually came with the suction cup, so the unit came like this. We have our baby pin receiver to 3/8-inch thread, and that will go on top of our baby pin like this. Tighten that on so that's nice and secure. I have a 3/8-inch to 5/8-inch bushing, which will screw on, oops, wrong end, which will screw on to the 3/8-inch. There's also a 1/4-inch on the other side, which is cool if you only have a 1/4-inch, but we're using 3/8-inch. And now that we have a 5/8-inch thread, this is perfect for the mic clip, which will screw on like that. Make sure that's nice and tight. Our microphone, of course, which I'm using the Shure Beta 58A, which is a wonderful handheld mic. Does not require phantom power, so that's always good for just on-the-go podcasting. Slip this guy in here. Cool. Now your last step is either an XLR cable to plug into the microphone, or in my case, the Tascam DR-10X, which is its own little self-recorder. So I'm just gonna plug this into the mic itself, and it records right to a micro SD card, which is very, very convenient. And this is it. This is how it's built. Very simple, and I will leave a link in the description with all of these different parts if you do want to build this. But honestly, like, having each one of these parts is probably good to have just in case, because even if you're not building a mobile podcasting setup, chances are you're going to need a baby pin receiver to 1/4-inch or 3/8-inch, or a bushing, or definitely a suction cup mount if you want to do any sort of car photography, video, anything that you want to stick to a window. You need a suction cup. So when mounting this, we need to make sure that we are not obstructing our view of our mirrors or getting in the way if I need to turn my head to see my blind spot. I cannot stress enough, be safe when driving. This is secondary. It's okay if this isn't perfect if you can drive, because driving is more important. And you can podcast later if need be. So we have this, and all we need to do is suction cup it to the window. So when positioning this, we want to make sure that we're not blocking our mirror. So we want to put it back more. And I'm actually going to opt to have it a little lower and have the mic point up at me as opposed to like here. Yeah, this feels right. And although like I'm gonna have a better audio source from here, having the mic like this still is pretty darn good. So now that we have this set, I'm gonna vacuum the air out of the suction cup rather, and make sure it is very secure to the window. All right, that's pretty secure. This is not going anywhere. This suction cup in particular is like rock solid. A mic is nothing. I've left this suction cup to a window all night and it hasn't even given any sign of like losing air. It's great. If you are gonna podcast with someone in the car and you have two different mics, the passenger can just hold their mic and you would rig up your mic like this since you're obviously driving. Let your passenger do all of the recording, mixing, monitoring, whatever the case is. This is all you need to do as a driver. If you are running solo, then yes, the DR-10X is a great option. That way you don't have to worry about a cable like running behind your seat and into another recorder like a Zoom or something. Like this is perfect. Before you leave, make sure you turn this on, hit record so you don't have to touch it while you're driving. You can just drive and podcast away, and even if there are some silent points, just let it roll. You can edit them out later. It's much safer to just roll it and let it be than to constantly like start, and stop. It's not a big deal. Just be safe, please. So let's get this guy started and let's do a little test drive. It is cold. Also, sorry in advance, I'm currently in the shade, but I see some sun coming up, so it's probably going to get overexposed. Just going to drive around the block here, and the camera's moving already. And yeah, so I'm doing my typical podcast thing. And I'm talking about a topic with the things and the stuff, and it's just a lovely drive. I see a squirrel running out in the middle of the road, and you better move, otherwise I'm going to hit you. Okay, thank you. He moved. Making a turn. All right, we have arrived. We made a little circle around the block. But yeah, hopefully this audio sounds really good. I have no idea how it's going to sound. Hopefully the car vibrations and noises aren't too distracting. Maybe, yeah, I can't imagine anything would sound terribly weird, but we're going to find out together. So we're going to pick this back up inside my nice warm apartment as opposed to out here in the freezing cold. So see you guys in there. Okay, back at the editing desk. Cut up what I just filmed, and now I'm listening to the results. Pretty freaking good, not gonna lie. I mean, not like I was overly surprised, because dynamic mics are very, very good with noise rejection and really good of just picking up what is around the capsule itself. And for a car that's making a lot of low noises, bumps, vibrations, all that. I think other microphones, definitely like a lav mic, would have picked up that the car ambient a lot more. So this type of mic is just really, I was very impressed. But that is it for this Random Rig Friday. This was a lot of fun, and I am definitely excited to make more rigs well, you'll see the next one next Friday. So if you don't want to miss next week's episode of Random Rig Friday, make sure you do subscribe. And if you have any suggestions for some random rigs, definitely let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'll see you guys next Friday.